Darwin first wrote his theory of evolution 150 years ago. The idea revolutionised science but sparked debate that rages to this day. Its latest focus is our schools. Teachers and scientists are worried that creationism, long controversial in America, is gaining ground here. They won't be happy then to hear that a key challenger to the theory of evolution is in Britain touring our schools. John Mackay is a geologist who believes there's evidence for the biblical floods in the Earth's rocks. He also says that no evolutionist will debate with him. Well, none until now. The Sky's report, Robert Nisbet, brought Mackay together with one of Darwin's biggest supporters. So who won the debate? Judge for yourselves.
The origin of our species has provoked furious debate ever since Darwin first penned his theory 150 years ago. But now the argument is evolving. Emboldened by the success of the intelligent design movement in the States, now the creationists are speaking up. One of their leading proponents, an Australian geologist, has come here to spread his message. And this cathedral to learning, the Manchester Museum, designed by a staunch Darwin supporter, has agreed to host the debate.
I'm John Mackay. I've been involved in creation research work for over 20 years now. I've been coming to England since the middle 80s and working in schools and colleges, and largely in that controversial area of creation versus evolution. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'm a convinced creationist.
He won't say which head teachers have invited him to talk to their pupils for fear of protests, but did admit to Sky News he's addressed all ages.
In the high schools, we would largely deal with sort of years 10, 11 and 12, but I personally like the little kids as well, because you can take along dead things and they think it's wonderful, throw out a dinosaur bone and you've got them in trance for the next half hour.
Remarks which concern his opponent in this debate, a young Cambridge-educated specialist in human evolution.
I am Chris Tyler and I work for Sense About Science, a charity that promotes good science in public debates. What I believe as a scientist is that all life on Earth evolved through natural mechanisms that can be explained through scientific processes. We don't need a divine creator to explain the wonders of life on this planet.
We introduce the two men in the museum's school exhibit room.
You don't feel that this is a debate that was won and settled about 100 years ago. The evidence there's so much evidence for evolution. You're just fighting a losing battle.
Well, it's an interesting point you make, and it's a popular point, but obviously given the media interest in what we're doing, I think you could have to say, like the South and the USA, they haven't surrendered yet.
But creationists haven't churned up any new evidence to challenge evolution. It's not that you're fighting a losing battle, it's that the debate is gone, it is dead, it's not there anymore. And going back and discussing whether evolution is true is like discussing whether there is gravity, whether the earth is flat. I mean, if the Bible said the earth was flat, would we be having a debate about that?
Okay, let me ask you a question before we proceed any further. You've been involved in doing a PhD in science, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, if you were looking for evidence of creation, what would you be looking for?
I would be looking for radiocarbon dates that didn't go past 40,000 years. I would be, or 10,000 years as you would claim. I would be looking for a whole range of the dating methods overlap and they're all independently checked. I would be looking for evidence of the Great Flood. These things, they're just not there. And although from time to time creationists come up and say, oh, we found some new evidence that backs up our idea, it doesn't stand up to scientific scrutiny.
You've been sold a set of glasses that you're seeing things through. You're not looking at the facts at all.
You go back and you look at the Bible, and that biblical account is, to your mind, true. There is nothing that you could find that would change your opinion about that. And that's what is the difference between science and belief. And you have belief,
you just
it's not
therefore
science.
saying that the scientist must be continually open to new ideas.
Scientists are continually open to new ideas.
Okay, now let's go one step further. How would he know when he found the truth?
Well, it happens all the time. I mean,
how do you know? Because you've said you've got to always be open to new ideas.
But
So are you committed to agnosticism?
Being open to new ideas isn't the same as knowing nothing.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But you see, in reality, the conflict between you and me is that you have an agnostic view of what knowledge is. And the early scientists...
I have an objective view of what knowledge is. You have an idea about creation because it was written in a book a few thousand years ago.
Let's take the clothes off that one. When you have a look at your objective view, isn't it true you first of all have some hidden presuppositions? You believe the world is real? And the Indian faker on the ground doesn't, which is why he didn't give us science and Francis Bacon did.
John Mackay claims geology backs his views that the fossil record fails to support evolution. He also says children should be taught what people around the world believed before Darwin.
You come across tribes of Aboriginals who have a story about a big flood and a rainbow, and I thought, they also have
a story about Dreamtime, which varies considerably from the Christian
no
version.
doubt. But this is an oral tradition. But the fact is, they recognise.
So you like that bit of their oral tradition?
Flood.
You like that version of their oral tradition, but not the other?
No, I'll accept it all, because you see, you have a look at their stories and you look at it through a biblical perspective, which says man rebelled against God.
So we're looking at it through a biblical perspective.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay. Same as you're using a Christian paradigm. There's law and order. You can think you're rational because actually we believe that because we're made in the image of a rational God, not an evolved orangutan. So you need to be consistent in what your definition of science is.
Chris Tyler is one of the few scientists prepared to debate with a creationist like John Mackay, but as the controversy over what is taught in faith schools and city academies grows, as well as what examination boards such as OCR include in their curriculum, the evolutionists may have to fight their corner once again.
The Sky Report's Robert Nisbet reporting there. Let's just bring you a little bit of breaking news coming to us from Scotland Yard tonight. We understand that detectives in the Cash for Honours inquiry have interviewed a number of people under caution. That's according to police officers at Scotland Yard. They say that all the interviews had been arranged by appointment and that none of the people concerned had been arrested. And Sky News also understands that the Prime Minister is not one of those who has been interviewed by Scotland Yard. If you remember, this probe was launched amid claims that Labour had broken the law preventing the sale of honours ahead of last year's elections, but it has since been widened to cover the activities of other parties as well and stretches back to 2000 as well. Let's cross now to Westminster and get some reaction from our political correspondent Glenn O'Glaser. So Glenn, no one arrested yet in this probe, but it does raise the issue of cash for peerages once again on the eve of the local elections, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and we had thought that perhaps the Metropolitan Police might suspend their interviewing of people until after these local elections. Clearly this is a very sensitive time, and this is a very sensitive issue for the government, for the Labour Party, and really it's a more serious issue in many ways than the issues of John Prescott and even of Charles Clarke. So very embarrassing for the government, for Tony Blair, to have this raised yet again, as you say, right on the eve of the local elections. I can confirm what you were just saying. Downing Street is saying that the Prime Minister is not one of those who's been interviewed by Scotland Yard. However, it's still possible that he may be interviewed in due course. That's unlikely to happen before Thursday, but it's not inconceivable that the Prime Minister might be interviewed at some point about this cash for peerages scandal. But we don't know at this stage who precisely has been interviewed. We're hoping to get more details from the Metropolitan Police, but no arrests, as we're saying, have been made, and people were, however,